This lesson is about descriptive statistics. You don't need to know anything about inferential statistics and tests for significance until your A2 year. This year you just need to focus on a few descriptive statistics in your investigations paper. So we're going to go over the main things that you will need to know for the exam, and when you're in class next day you will be tested on these. So the first one that we're going to look at is the mean. The mean, you'll be asked sort of questions. What is it? Or be asked to describe the mean. You'll also be asked an advantage, a disadvantage, and you'll be asked how to calculate the mean. So please pause the video and answer those 4 questions. A description, or what is it? One advantage, one disadvantage, and step-by-step calculation. So you've probably written down that the mean is the mathematical average, and that an advantage of the mean is that it uses every single score in a data set. So for males you use all 5 scores, for females you use all 5 of their scores. A disadvantage would be that because you're using all 5 scores, that if there is an extreme score or an outlier, neither high or low, that it would affect the rest of the results. So our range of scores here are from 3 to 8, but if you had a score, say, of 20, which was obviously very different to the rest of them, that would be an extreme score, and that would affect your mean. So that's a disadvantage. You may either calculate the mean yourself if you are writing down results of a set of data, or you might be asked to describe step by step how you would calculate it. It's important to remember that for the mean you would not just add all the scores together and divide them, because you will have at least 2 different conditions. In this case we have 2 groups, males and females. So you would need to describe how you would calculate the mean for males and then how you would calculate the mean for females. So you would write something like, for the mean for males, I would add all the scores together, e.g. 5 plus 7 plus 7 plus 4 plus 3, and then divide the total by the number of scores. In this case there are 5 scores. So you add them up and divide by 5, and then you would do the same for females. So you should have calculated that for males the mean is 5.2, and for females it is 4.4. The next type of average that we're going to look at is the mode. Again, you will be asked the same sort of questions, a description, or what is it, advantage, disadvantage, and how do you calculate it. Once again, pause the video and answer these questions yourself. Okay, you should have written down that the mode is the most frequent number in a set of data. An advantage of the mode is, unlike the mean, it is not affected by extreme scores or outliers. A disadvantage of the mode is that you may have more than one mode. If you look at the set of data for females below, you'll see that we have 2 number 3s and 2 number 4s. That means that the mode here is bimodal. But imagine if you had a larger set of data and you had 5 or 6 modes. That's a disadvantage. How do you calculate the mode? It's probably the easiest one to calculate, as long as you have a small set of data. It gets more difficult the larger amount of numbers you have. So for this case, with males, the mode is 7 because there are 2 7s. And for females, we have 2 modes, which is 3 and 4. That's relatively easy because there's only 5 scores for males and females, but you can imagine how much harder it would be to calculate as opposed to the mean, where you just add all the scores up and divide them if you have a large set of data, but the mode would be more difficult. That's your main disadvantage. Our last average is the median, and again the same questions as before for the same set of data below. So pause the video and work out your answers, please. So you should have written that the median is whenever you place all of your scores into rank order, and the median then is the middle number. So for example, for males it would be 7, 7, 5, 4, 3, and your median therefore would be 5. For the females it would be 8, 4, 4, 3, 3, and in that case your median would be 4. Now we have only 5 scores for each of the groups, so that means it's an odd number. However, if you have an even number of participants, for example 6 instead of 5, you would work out your middle score by taking the two middle numbers, adding them together and dividing by 2. And again, as you can see, like the mode, a disadvantage might be that this would be quite time consuming to do, to put all of your scores in order and then to work out which was the middle number, unlike the mean. And that's why the mean is the average which is used most often in psychological research. The reason we calculate means is so that we can then look at differences between means for different conditions, and those scores, the means, are what we use whenever we are carrying out statistical tests for significance to see if results are due to the independent variable or not. But again, that's something that we look at A2. For the purposes of AS, you are looking at the median because you want to summarise your results. Your advantage of the median would be that since it's just looking at the middle number of a set of data, outliers will have little or no effect, unlike the mean. So that would be the advantage. But as I said, the disadvantage is it does become rather tedious to work out when you have a large set of data. So hopefully now you are confident in knowing what the mean, mode and median are, how to define them, how to work them out, advantages and disadvantages, and making sure that if you are asked to calculate it in the exam, that you calculate the mean, the mode or the median separately for your various groups that you'll be given. You don't do them all together. You need an average for males and an average for females, or whatever the condition might be. We're going to look now at bar charts, which is another way of summarising your data, and we can summarise or present our averages using bar charts. So we're going to go over that in the next slide. I'm going to show you how you would sketch a bar chart for our first set of data, which was the mean. And we were working out the mean for males and mean for females. So as I said, bar charts are a way of presenting your summarised data. You do not put individual participant scores on a bar chart, but you should use one of the measures of central tendency. So as I said, in this case, we're going to use the mean, and it's normally the mean. And the purpose of the bar chart is to show visually the difference between the two or more conditions. And it's a way of presenting your data in a summarised way. So we're going to start off with your axes. So we have our y-axis. This is going to be a bit wobbly, but never mind. Because it's just, you use a ruler in the exam, but it's just a sketch. You won't be given graph paper or anything like that. And our x-axis. There's no room. Okay. So we are going to do males and females. So male, and doing it all in pink as if it's all females, but it's not. So we've got females, and we have to put a label there on the x-axis as well. That is very important. There are 4 marks for your graph, and it's very important. This is such a simple thing to do. It's very important that you have all your labels correct. So we will label that gender. Okay, so we now need to think what was our lowest score and what was our highest score. So our scores range from 3 up to 8. So I'm going to start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So obviously our means were not a whole number, but we can, it's just a sketch, we can put it on as best we can. So that's our y-axis, and we have our numbers on there, and then we need to label it as well. So we need to put that it is a mean score and what it's a score out of. So as I said, this was out of 10. So mean score out of 10 on a spot the difference puzzle. So mean, score out of 10 in a spot the difference puzzle. So our mean for our males was 5.2. We're now going to put on the females' average, which was 4.4. So we're now going to put on the females' average, females' mean, which was 4.4. It's probably near 5, but anyway. 4.4, and our males were 5.2. And that's how you would draw your bar chart. Now, one thing which we have left out is a title. So I want you to pause the video and think of what would a suitable title be for this bar chart. So your title would be something like mean scores for each gender in the spot the difference puzzle. And that would get you your 4 marks. You have your title, you have your 2 axes labelled, and you have the data presented properly onto your graph. So an easy way to get 4 marks, but a lot of people forget to put labels and titles and throw their marks away. So when you come to class next time, Wednesday, we will be looking at the mean, the mode, the median, and how to draw a bar chart. So please make sure that you know how to do all 4 of those things and that you're prepared for Wednesday's lesson. Thank you.